First tonight, the hospital asking its staff to count the pennies in a bid to save £250,000 in just 3 weeks.
In an email to staff, managers at Bedford Hospital make a number of suggestions, everything from eating in the staff canteen to switching off computers and from using cheaper drugs to not using the photocopier. They say every single penny saved could make the difference in its bid to become a foundation trust. In a moment, I'll be speaking to the medical director, but first this report from Joel Mapp.
Okay, then.
Managers at Bedford Hospital claim every phone call and every light left on could have a profound effect on the hospital's future. Its annual budget is £130 million, but if it ends the financial year with even the smallest deficit, it won't be granted foundation status. So it sent an email to all staff entitled 3 weeks to save £250,000, asking them to think about dramatically reducing printing and photocopying and switching off lights and computers. It asked them to use cheaper drug alternatives if available, and even to buy their lunches at the hospital canteen.
This particular trust has spent an enormous amount of money, firstly on trying to become a foundation trust. And the reason they want to do that is that they can then go and borrow money on the financial markets and play at being bankers. They don't really know about saving money. What they do know is how to go out and mug their staff.
Achieving foundation status will give the hospital more financial control, but it won't necessarily guarantee a better service. At Mid-Staffordshire, foundation status didn't stop managers pursuing targets to the detriment of patient care. Some died needlessly as a result. Ultimately, the hospital is worried this could be its last chance to achieve foundation status, and as a result, it could be forced to merge with another hospital. That could mean job losses, and it could mean patient services are moved elsewhere to other towns. Joel Mapp, BBC Look East at Bedford Hospital.
Well, Ed Neal is medical director at the hospital. He's in Bedford now. Are you mugging your staff?
Not at all. There's no way that we're mugging our staff. This is just part of normal good housekeeping for us. It's the end of the financial year, and just like everyone else, we want to make sure that our books balance. This time last month, we were facing a £600,000 deficit. We've already more than halved that. This is just good housekeeping, and at home you'd turn the lights off, so why shouldn't we?
Seems like panic measures, though, doesn't it? I mean, if you haven't balanced your books over a whole year, why should you ask the staff to help you do it in 3 weeks?
Well, this isn't a panic measure at all. We've been talking to staff for many months. They have a weekly email on the situation. What has happened recently is, as the financial year end has approached, things have become crystallised, but this isn't anything new. This is business as normal here at Bedford to make sure that the books balance.
So business as normal is telling people to switch off lights and computers, telling them to use cheaper drugs if you can, telling them to treat more people if they can?
Business as normal is to make sure that we get the best value for money out of the taxpayer's pound. What we want to do is to make sure that we give the best possible treatment to the patients of Bedford and not waste it on electricity that could be turned where things could be turned off.
Now, if you don't get foundation trust status, it might mean that you're taken over by another hospital. Wouldn't it be better if somebody came in who can balance the books without asking the staff to eat in the staff canteen?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that's where your analogy with mid-staffs is completely wrong. This isn't about balancing the books. We want to be a foundation trust because we want to deliver high-quality health care for the people of North Bedfordshire and to be independent, not be run by another hospital many miles away who have a different agenda rather than the needs of our people.
But you can't become a foundation trust unless you balance your books, and it's difficult to balance the books, and so you're involving the staff in all these very small measures.
Absolutely, and why not? If your salary didn't make it to the end of the month, you'd ask your wife to turn off the heating. Well, this is no different.
I'd do it myself. I wouldn't ask somebody else to do it, and that's what you're doing. That's what the unions say.
Well, unfortunately, the union representative is not saying what our union representatives here in the hospital are saying. Our staff, at a meeting yesterday, were 100% behind the management of Bedford Hospital in this initiative to make sure that we make the books balance by the end of the financial year.
Mr Neal, thank you very much for being with us this evening.
It's a pleasure.
The government has today announced loan guarantees worth £270 million to help secure the future of Vauxhall. Union leaders at Luton have welcomed the move, saying it will safeguard jobs. Our chief reporter Kim Riley is at a Vauxhall dealership now. Kim.
Yeah, the past year has been full of uncertainties for staff at the Luton plant. That's where they produce this model. It's the Vivaro van. It's also been a year of uncertainty for people right across the region at dealerships like this. Why the uncertainty? Well, GM wanted to sell off its European operations. Vauxhall here, Opel in Germany. In the end, it didn't happen. But on the production line at Vauxhall, there are going to be job losses. It employs at the moment almost 1,500 workers. Some 400 will go. Today's agreement came after what the government described as highly complex talks. £270 million worth of loan guarantees provided. There'll be other investment too from GM itself and other European governments. Speaking this afternoon, this was the Business Secretary, Lord Mandelson.
Well, most importantly for us, secure the future of Vauxhall's plants in the UK. They're first-rate plants. They have an excellent workforce, as I say, and I'm very pleased that they're going to remain a very strong, thriving part of Britain's auto manufacturing base.
Sceptics might see the timing of this as a little bit suspicious politically. Of course, Labour wants to shore up votes in seats like Luton South. The timing, perhaps no accident. But let's just say that the Labour government is pushing ahead with this. One important caveat to the good news they say is happening today is that that van contract only lasts to 2013. They very much need to find a new model to keep the Luton plant going beyond that time.
Kim, thank you.
Muslims in Kettering have accused their local MP of cynical electioneering by pandering to people's prejudice and bigotry to win votes. Philip Hollowbone is calling for a ban on women wearing the burqa in public places. His party has already said it disagrees.
For many Muslim women, wearing the burqa is important. It's an expression of their faith. But many in the West treat it with suspicion.
Now, I've been concerned for some time about the niqab and the burqa, but it wasn't until I took my children to the play area in my local park recently and saw a woman wearing a full burqa that it really came home to me how inappropriate and frankly offensive it is for people to wear this apparel in the 21st century.
Muslims today said these comments were inflammatory and insulting.
The compulsion here is not choosing to wear it, it's being told that you can't wear it. It's a bit hypocritical. On one hand, to talk about Britishness being about freedom of expression, about openness, about tolerance, and on the other hand, going around saying, well, I don't like this, it's disgusting, we should ban it. You know, it's no coincidence that he's got quite a small majority and we are in the run-up to an election.
The Conservative Party said of the Kettering MP, we disagree with these comments. A strong society treats everyone with dignity and respect. That means not showing intolerance to other people's views, even when we don't agree with them. It means recognising the importance of free speech, freedom to associate and freedom of worship. It also means recognising how important the wearing of a cross, a hijab or a turban is to many people.
I think it's about time that MPs had independent thoughts. Yes, of course, we're members of political parties, but that doesn't mean that we all have to believe absolutely the same thing. And I'm confident on this issue that I'm speaking out for the vast majority of my constituents, whether they're Conservative, Labour or anything else.
This was the reaction in Luton today.
Why should it be banned? For example, I work in a bank. If I need someone to take it off, just to identify them, they'll take it off.
I think they should be able to wear burqa in public places. Simple as that.
In their own home, yes. But out in public, no. They're in Britain.
It's a divisive subject and one that will be debated long after the next election. Faye Southwell, BBC Look East.
There's plenty still to come on tonight's Look East. We speak to former